Likeable doesn't make for a good character. Depth, complexity, interest, these are the elements that we should follow as writers. Anyway, this section is a part of a video called DMC3 is overrated and here's why. I promise the title isn't clickbait. Join the Discord if you want to agree or disagree with me on something. We have a lot of fun in the server, as you can see. With all of the shilling out of the way, I found a video not too long ago called How Dante Got His Groove Back, and the thumbnail says, what makes him so likable? I wanted to respond to this video, not just because I disagree with it, but because I see this as a larger issue I want to make an example of. At the end, I hope that you almost question how you see DMC's Dante. This isn't a Lucid Enigma video, you know. Can I beat DMC3 with my dick out? And enter the thumbnail with something red in it. Of course, don't harass the guy. He has more subs than me, but that doesn't mean bullying's okay, guys. Only on certain occasions. Only when they're smaller than...
Back in 2003, Dante and the Devil May Cry name had been dethroned from its heroic status that Devil May Cry 1 had instilled from the word go. The development team Capcom Studio 1 were in dire need of a success if they were to stay afloat.
We are less than 40 seconds in and you've already made a big mistake. DMC3 was in development before DMC2 came out. There is a lot of people that think DMC2 was a critical mistake and they plan to make up for it with DMC3. But DMC3 was planned to be a big change in the series before 2 even came out. Insuno could have overhauled DMC2 to be a different game, but he didn't want to do that. DMC2 came out the way not only because of its development history, but because Insuno didn't want to save it. History was already made when Insuno was given the freedom for the DMC series. And by the by, Capcom wasn't in need of a quote-unquote dire need of success. DMC2 sold well. Bro, we aren't even a minute in.
It fixed many of the shortcomings both those initial titles just weren't able to achieve, and raised the bar for what a character action game, or a hack and slash game, or whatever buzzword for action games should feel and look like.
Okay, now come on. The level design, the enemy design, the camera, all these things DMC1 did better. And I know you showed a bit of footage of Bayo 1, which is good because if you played both of these games, Bayo 1 is easily better.
To compensate for how bastardized Dante's image had become. And my oh my, could I have not been more happier for a drastic character change.
Damn, we're not even trying to hide it anymore. First, DMC1 and DMC2 can be connected. DMC2 Dante was a look at Dante when he's at his lowest point, where the facade drops. Even the anime goes out of its way to show us this. There is still room for growth and good writing, but DMC3 and all the games after it threw it away. Second, I'm glad you're honest, because it's okay when DMC3 radically changes the character because he rides a rocket and stuff, but that's unacceptable when DMC Devil May Cry does it, but still clearly being influenced by past Dantes and having a really good arc. When Dante radically gets changed in 3, he quote-unquote gets his groove back, but when DMC Devil May Cry Dante does it, he gets called Dante. Alright, cool, at least you're honest.
This was all possible through Ruben Langdon's killer performance, providing the definitive Dante voice, and even performing the mocap for the character.
Okay, buddy. First, Dante's voice, as you call it, is only in DMC3. In DMC4 and 5 and the anime, he sounds different. And second, Ruben isn't the only Dante. There has been Dantes before him, and there has been Dantes after. Also, by the way, can we just talk about how weird the DMC3 voice is? He sounds like this. Look. No wonder this guy looks so funny today. Bro, he sounds like a 90s bully.
Likeable as Dante in DMC1 was set out to be, he could come off as wooden in his delivery at times, or just an overtly cheesy cornball.
I'm his son, Dante. Sweet dreams.
Guys, DMC1 Dante is getting the DMC Devil May Cry treatment. You know, the whole playing the cutscene without actually explaining why it's a bad thing? And also, the fuck's your lot? Cornball? Huh? He was on point as Dante. Fuck you mean cornball. Each of his lines not only landed, but are extremely quotable. Are we gonna forget the flock off, or the start of the jackpot saying? And something just occurred to me as soon as I wrote the last line. Corny is a tone. Edgy is also a tone. You see where I'm going with this? DMC Devil May Cry Dante gets called edgy, even though that's not a criticism, but a tone. He's calling DMC1 Dante bad because he's corny. Tone can't be good nor bad. I'm sorry, DMC1 Dante. F's in the chat for DMC1. He's getting the DMC Devil May Cry treatment. Pray for him.
The newcomers could be sweating bullets. Dante's swagger vicariously infects a sense of confidence in the player's demeanor, encouraging a more aggressive playstyle because, let's face it, it's a dog-eat-dog world out there.
I mean, that's a lot of video game protagonists. Being angry and aggressive character is normal for most violent games with protagonists.
When Dante's serious side takes effect, it makes you that much more glued in on the situation, that if this guy is taking this situation seriously, then your attention probably shouldn't be diverted either.
Oh, this Dante? You know the same one that was having a blast when Dante saw a lady's father die? Same Dante, right?
Because he was Nilo Angelo in DMC1, but this prequel will show how that misfortune transpires, and it's really cool to see the brothers' dynamic and relationship develop and unfold, because Dante seems entirely unaffected reuniting with his corrupted brother once again in the first game.
We hear the flashback. We see it in DMC2. Dog, I get it. It's not exactly, we don't have multiple scenes about it, but that's because DMC1 only has a total of 40 minutes of cutscenes, and Virgil's death happens at the very end of it.
Through all the trials and tribulation Dante faces, he starts to mature and come into his own, seeing the bigger picture and what his destiny has laid out for him.
Oh, you mean the arc that only happens near the end of the game, unlike DMC Devil May Cry where he's developing all the time? Outro. Alright, that was quick, but I think it comes across with the issue that I have with how DMC's Dante is looked at. Did you see the thumbnail? You can tell that he's off with the wrong track, actually. 1. Likeable isn't what makes a good character. I've used it on my wall, but likeable isn't what makes a good character at all. Let pass Splinter explain it from my ultimate defense of DMC Devil May Cry video. Alright, so apparently people need to be reminded that this exists. It says, great characters should be dimensional, fascinating, believable, compelling. Alright, let's look at false goods. Likeable, relatable, sympathetic. Sounds innocent, but can ruin storytelling. Note, these can be okay, but are most often misused. This is from the main writer of Avatar: The Last Airbender. I think this guy was onto something. 2. Notice what's in the thumbnail. It's not Dante's awakening, it's not his fight with Virgil, it's not the end of the story, it's him riding a rocket. I'm not saying that this is a bad thumbnail, it just shows the priorities of Dante riding a rocket in the intro is very important to him. skrillydeeVG, isn't going to explain anything about his arc, his backstory, or complexity. It's all about, wow, he rode a rocket! Woo! This can be seen even more with his thoughts on DMC1 Dante. His problem with 1 Dante isn't about backstory, the complexity, or the arc, it's that he's corny. Thanks. That's really helpful, buddy. I wanted to show this video because this is how most of the community sees Dante. It's not about the actual quality of the character, it's just that the character does cool stuff. Same issue with Virgil. So many people like 3 Virgil over DMC Devil May Cry Virgil is because he's quote-unquote cooler, even though DMC 5 Virgil took a great amount of influence from DMC Devil May Cry's version of the character. Even small things like saying, I'm glad for a massive change of the character. Yeah, dude, I could really tell. The community's take on the characters in these games is extremely whacked, and I hope that more of you actually open up your eyes a little bit, and I hope this video has at least somewhat done that. If it hasn't, I'll go fuck myself then. This has been Splinter, and I'm out of this bitch.